Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today I'm doing a piece called Showing Up in Your Art Journal and why I art journal. So I've had lots of changes happening in my life at the moment, sort of work-wise. Things have been interesting. It's been a bit tough, but yeah, things are on the up and up now. So I've got a new job which I'm really loving. And but at this stage when I was doing this page, I was just really struggling with things a little bit, and my way of working through that is just to play in my journal. Now on this particular day, and this is why it's called Show Up in Your Art Journal, I really didn't want to do anything. I wasn't very motivated to do anything, but I knew I needed to do something because I was driving myself nuts and I just needed to empty my brain. So I just thought, look, go in, glue some stuff down on your journal page, put some paint on, if it's a mess, it's a mess, that's okay. So that's what I did. I started off with a little bit of collage, then started off with some paints, some blues mixed in together. It was still very wet with the gel medium underneath, so it blended really nicely. I used my pencil and did a little bit of journaling into it, just about why I was feeling a little bit frustrated, why I needed to do it. You can see me doing that again here. I got a stencil out and rubbed a little bit of paint away so I could sort of see some of that journaling below. Now, I often say you can kind of tell what sort of mood particularly I'm in, but people are in when the colours that they choose, what they're choosing. A lot of the colours I've been choosing recently have been sort of very dark and dingy and just reflecting how my mental state has been, I suppose. So it's interesting how that happens really subconsciously when you're not thinking about it. And looking at this a few weeks on from when I did it, I can sort of really see where my head was at when I was doing it. So, but I know by the end of doing this page, I felt a lot better because I'd done something. I felt like at least I'd achieved something. So I'm going in and I've done a little bit of mark making in the background, and now I'm just drawing some leaves. So again, you can see I am not really thinking about what I'm doing, and I'm sticking to really simple stuff and really simple shapes. I'm not pushing myself. I am not doing anything particularly fancy. I am just, doing this enough that I can have a video on in the background to sort of tune out, and I can just sit there and play with paint pens. This page is inspired by the amazing Megan Quinlan, sorry, and it's a layout I've done before, or a design I've done before. So again, I was taking away that pressure of having to think about what I was doing. I, had a design in mind. I didn't need to think about that. These are shapes that I draw regularly, so I didn't need to think about that. The collage in the background, that's something I do, so I didn't need to think about that. So there was no pressure on me to, create something new and fantastic and think. I was just creating something I knew I could create. It was very low stress. If I stuffed it up, I stuffed it up, but I was getting out of my head and I was just doing something. And I find when I'm particularly doing this, that, just that extra going back and doing over the top of stuff, just having my hand moving across the page really helps things out. So I went in with some white ink and splattered that over the page. I'm going in with some white gel pen now and adding in some extra detail onto my pen. I actually really liked how this page was going. So I decided that, and it's something that I've been doing a lot in the last few months, is I wanted to write a quote on this page to sort of sum up how I was feeling and what was going on. And I found that really powerful at the moment. I find sometimes with quotes that they can summarize how you're feeling a little bit more than, if I sat there and wrote screeds and screeds and screeds, that, there's something very clear and concise about 5 or 10 words that I can put on my page that someone else has sort of come up with that goes, oh yeah, that's why I'm feeling like this. So I've been doing a lot of quotes in my journal at the moment, and I really like flipping back through them because I can tell very, very quickly by reading the quotes and seeing the colours I've used in the background where my head was at. So again, you can sort of see Megan's influence with the little doodly loops, and again, because I was having fun doing them, there's quite a lot of them on the page. So I'm just drying everything off, particularly that ink in the background that I splattered on. You just need to make sure, particularly if you're going to write over the top of it, that it is dry before you do that, because wet inks don't work well with other pens. So it's a good way of killing a pen. Now that in itself, that page in itself would be fine just to keep as is, but I chose to write over the top. And this one's a fairly lengthy-ish quote, and I'm just with my writing for it, I'm not going to do too much to it, but I'm extending all the stems of my letters. So sort of my H's and T's are quite tall, and my G's and Y's are quite long, go down bottom. Everything's quite skinny as well, and you can sort of see I'm using black, writing over some of the areas. I did skip those black marks in the middle, so it's a little bit readable. Filling up the entire page with the quote, even going down sort of into my border down the bottom. Now what I have found when I do these is just putting a little bit of a white highlight around my pens. Please excuse the page going out of focus while I do this. It just helps it push it out from the background a little bit. So it does seem like extra work, but when you see the close-up at the end, you'll see how it does sort of make a difference to the final quote. It does make it slightly more readable. I did also notice as I was doing this that I've got a bandage on my finger. Because of my run of luck this year, I ended up slicing my finger when I was cooking tea one night, so I ended up with 4 stitches in my finger too. So yeah, I'm all over the place at the moment. So here is the finished page. If you don't learn how strong you are until you push beyond what you thought you could do, to see what happens afterwards. So I encourage you, if you're having a tough day or a tough time, just show up in your journal, just slap some stuff down on your page, have a go, see what you end up with. If it's a disaster, it's a disaster, but at least it gets you out of your own head for a little while. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.